Zen and the art of Windows management, the MacAdmin's way. So, my name is Christiansen. 12 years ago, I started being a MacAdmin at Carr University, and became a paper box sculptor at the same time. And last year I did a talk, and then there's a lot about me. I'm not going to go into it. If anybody's interested, you can kind of check out last year's. But in November 2022, I migrated from being just a MacAdmin to also I took over the Windows management on our environment, and I was super excited about that. But one of the things was just the disaster that was Windows on our side. It was like this monolithic software that we were using. I'm not even going to name the names, but there was still imaging and GPO and on-prem server that's like aging. You name it. Like no documentation. Nobody knew anything about anything. So I took over this, and I'm just like, for the first year, I literally just watched and tried to see what was going on. So I do want to apologize because this talk has not a lot of Mac, but the idea is how I brought the MacAdmin way that we do for the entire Windows management. Like today, I literally manage the Windows, how we manage the Macs, and I'm going to show you. So sorry about that. There's not a lot of Mac focus. I am absolutely the geekest Apple person that all of my friends know, but here we are. So we use Monkey as our engine for a lot of things, and we've been using it for 12 years, I guess. We love it. Don't want to move away from it. When MDM came along, we just wanted to keep using Monkey with MDM, and then we added things to do that. And obviously all the friends that we have along the way, auto package, crypt, docutil, Swift dialog, outset. And we have a really GitOps setup now where our repo is running on pipelines, and we're orchestrating everything, because like these guys on the middle, I never want to open, right? I want to set it up. Like my Intune, I never want to open that thing. Like it's horrific. Anyway. So the way that we have it on Monkey is Monkey repo and a couple other repos along the way. We are pushing code, and we are orchestrating everything, and then the devices get it, right? So like everything is abstract. It's a lot of work to set it up, but once it's set up, like you're just changing one line of code in a manifest to push something or what have you. So I get to the Windows side, and I'm figuring this out, and this is middle of 2024. And I'm like, how am I going to do this, right? Because there is July 2024, and there's a year left in our license for this legacy software that we use. So I have a deadline that I could try to match it, which is August 15th, so a little bit over a year. I'm looking around, and I see that there's this gorilla, kind of like somebody that created it. And well, step back for a sec. We did look at other options because I really wanted a Mac and Windows combination. We looked at Fleet. We talked to them. They were great. We really wanted to go with Fleet, platinum sponsors, and it just didn't work out for various reasons on our end. It wasn't, on their end. So I'm like, okay, I got to open source this. I got to go open source. We're going to figure this out. What's out there? I see Gorilla, and I'm looking at it, and it's like one binary. And there's no pre or post install scripts, which we use a lot for setting our manifest. There's no package info. There's no concept of a package info. So you don't have make catalogs. So you don't really have catalogs. There's no importing tool. There's not really a packaging solution. There's no way to like package. Like I want to make a custom package with a freaking wallpaper and set it up. So like, okay, there's no way to package. There's a dependency on Choco for installing new package, which is this window thing that I'll mention it. There's no software center because like where I want to get to, it's the optional installs for end users, and it hasn't been updated for 4 years. So I'm like, well, okay, maybe I can take this on because now we have this friend called AI. So I go on this journey. September 8th is my first commit on my fork. So I fork Gorilla, and I'm like, okay, package infos. First thing I do is I create the structure for package infos. Everything is on YAML. And my goal is, all right, all the binaries, I'm going to build all the binaries, and we're going to just match it. And this thing is going to be beautiful. It's all going to work out, right? My delusion at the time. But first up, I get packages info working. Everything's in YAML. I got the keys and like matching them and the logic and etc. Which gives us make catalogs. So we can have different package infos, and then we get a catalog, and that catalog is what the machines read instead of what Gorilla had, which is just catalogs, but manually created, no make catalogs. So I got this working, and then okay, manifest. Let's do manifest. Got the manifest structure. Conditional items, which was a big job, which is like getting all the OS stuff to report and be able to use conditional items for all the predicates and stuff on the system. So get this working. So we're humming along. And one thing that we do on the Macs, which we still use Monkey to push profiles even without install profiles, that we could do. I won't go into it, but I wanted to keep doing the same thing. So I'm going to leverage the manifests to install profiles. And the way I did this is because, again, I never want to open this. It's just, oh, sorry. One quick point. On the Mac, we have this wonderful thing called mobile configs. So I'm thinking, how could I replicate mobile configs for this Windows setup? So I create this sudo mobile config, which are just YAML files. And what I do is there's a YAML file with a specific name, an identifier, what's the OS, and then on Windows you have these OMA URI, which are basically management keys, right, that you can set, which goes to the registry, what have you. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to create these YAMLs. So it's like these little like mobile configs. And I'm just going to run a pipeline. And then that's going to be set on Intune in that horrible, like you can't even see the key on the interface. Like it's just like this small little window and you can't, anyway. So that starts working. So I get all my mobile configs to be just a simple YAML file. Even ones that are modern, which is like the setting catalogs, because you have these, they've been starting to deprecate the OMA URI options. So if it's in the settings catalog, you can't actually set the old one anymore. So this works as well because there's graph APIs. So you can just run the graph API and create that profile. So this one, for example, is like a modern one. So it's a double negative, disable, widget board, enable. So if you want to hide that stupid thing on the left side of the taskbar, you can do that. So I have this mobile config and I push it through the pipeline and that thing disappears and it's great. So, we have a lot of different settings and preferences. So we start building these things. So great. I have now package infos, I have manifests, I have how to deal with profiles. And yeah, and that's how we do it. So essentially runs the pipeline, graph API, I send it to Intune, and then Entra for the assignments, because you got to tell who's going to get this installed. So all I wish I could go into more details, but I gotta go through it. But basically, a manifest on my repo for Monkey and the Windows tool matches an Entra group. So that Entra group gets the profile that I'm telling you in the manifest. So essentially, it's a way to say install this key, this management configuration on this group, and every device in that group gets it. So that repo has a bunch of samples, and I have a sample of a pipeline. So anybody can grab it, take a look if it's of interest. This is how we handle it. So there's a folder with all the profiles. We just make an edit, we commit it, and that deals with Intune, and we don't have to do anything. And as long as it's in the manifest, and the pipeline runs, and this pipeline in particular is called Intune orchestration. So I'm orchestrating the groups and the profiles and the managed apps and something else. Okay, so we got this, but now I'm getting into packaging. All right, how I'm gonna package, because on Monkey, we use Monkey package, and we have this very simple structure. It's a payload, so I have files that I wanna put on the disk somewhere. I usually wanna run a pre-install script before you copy the files into this location. Okay, run the script or not. And after, I might want to run another script. So we've been using this forever. We also have like a huge library. All the packages we've built for like the last 10 years, they're all Monkey packages. I can go back and see something from like 8 years ago. Oh, how do we do this? I can go and look. They're all source control. It's great. Love it. So I'm like, okay, how am I going to do this on Windows? Because like if you go to Apple in the Xcode documentation, you can see package build. What does it do? How do you package on the Mac? It's all there, right? On the Windows, it's a little bit more difficult. And Monkey package is really just using package build. You know, it's calling package build behind the scenes. So, you know, if you go on the Windows side and you look at the documentation, they got like the MSIX, which is the new version, and it's all this XML, and you got to use the Visual Code Studio and blah 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 to build an MSI, and it's just very confusing. There's like 3 things. So I'm like, okay, maybe I can do the same idea where we have package build. What is like a translator that I can use in the middle to just kind of run? So I found this thing called Wix. It's also runs on XML, and it's an MSI builder that has been for many years. I've tried to like create this Gorilla package using the Wix, which is the idea that, okay, I'm gonna tell Wix that I want to create a pre-install script, I want a payload, and a post-install script. Like a very simple, like I'm just gonna force this into existence. So however this stupid XML markup, is, I'm gonna make it. And then you start getting into MSI custom installs, and then you gotta schedule the custom install to run, and there's like visual base scripts that you can put, or you can like embed the script as a basics4. There's like 5 ways to do it. None of them work. So I kind of give up on that for the moment because like it just wasn't working. So I do some research and I found out about new package, which is like this more developer kind of, which is really just a zip folder with some instructions. And it is more similar because you do have the concept of a payload. So I get this working, and it's like, okay, I can create a new package and I can install with Choco, which is like Brew for Windows, right? So it's like this kind of catalog of apps, and you can install things. And so I was using it as an installer for these new packages that I was building. And when I say packages, it's like configuration packages that we're doing for managing, different things at this point, because also we're going to get to installers soon. But this is working, but there's going to be problems later. But for now, it's working. So, okay, I got that working. Great. I can package stuff. So we're moving along, and we're creating the packages. Now we're starting to test them. But really, I'm starting to think about what do I want to get to. Eventually, is what I want to get to is Managed Software Center. And Gorilla is in Go. I'm looking at the code base, and there's kind of like a moment I was like, I don't think I want to keep doing it this way. We're in January. So that's the plan. And really, I want to get to this, which is what I got to. But I'm looking at all the Windows options, and really the best, most modern out of the 3 that they talk about, because why not have 3, is WinUI 3, which is what I picked. And then I was, everything was leading me to, okay, C# would be the best native language to build it on. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to start over, and I'm going to start with C#. So to keep it in the monkey theme, the ape, the primate, after much thought, way too much brainstorming, a lot of ChatGPT sessions trying to figure out the name for this thing, I come up with Cimian, but C for C#. So monkey and Cimian. So they're siblings and they're friends, and they're going to do the same job on both platforms. So now I have Cimi package and Cimi import. And the reason that is Cimi like that is because monkey, I typed like monkey import a lot, and I noticed that I really liked the Cimi import, like 2 I's. So anyway, oh, there's 3 there. That's a typo. Yeah, that's a typo. It's actually 2. But just like little details of somebody that uses the thing a lot, you kind of. So anyway, all right. So Cimi import. Now we're at the point I'm like, okay, I'm starting to build these things, and now we're getting into the wonderful world of Windows installers. So eventually I want a YAML on the other side, right? But then MSIs are kind of straightforward. Like these 3 are actually fine-ish. MSI, you got a product code and an upgrade code. So it's kind of like a what's it called, receipt, right, that we put on the Mac. Like the package has a receipt, so it's like fine, and you can pass arguments as well if there's like arguments or whatever. New packages, you actually have a lot of metadata because it's just it's an XML inside, which is a new spec, and then it has like an identifier, it has a version, and you can also do the installs array. I added to Cimian, which is just like Monkey, where you can say, okay, install this package if the path or the direct or the file, or do an MD5 checksum. And then you can pass a hash as well, things like that. And a script, you just import the script, and it becomes a no package normal. But this thing, these exes, are just a world of pain. Like, there are flags, there are switches, there are arguments, there are subcommands. So like every software is different, and you can have a /, or you can have, it needs to be a capital, specifically. If it's not a capital, it does not work. Or like a flag with 1 dash, not 2 dashes. And anyway, like all of them are different. So I added support for all of them in Cimian. So you can have, like Visual Code, Visual Studio, the flags are like this. It's actually like a double flag, so you can just pass quiet, no restart, so you're just installing it, silently. Git has like this format, so it switches. So we got to do very silent, no restart, blah, blah, blah. Arguments, so like if you have a path, you have to put it as an argument. And then sometimes there's both, so like there's a subcommand, so you got to go like install and then put the flags in. And these are not that easy to find. Some of the exes you can do like a /?, and then they'll give you like a window and it shows you. Like this is also, by the way, like incredibly frustrating for a Mac person to deal with, in case it's not obvious in my tone, because the sane way on the other side. So I got to install all of these things by August because we run classes. And if these are not updated, we're, not in a good place. So I got to figure out how to package all of these things, because because now I'm burning the ships, right? That image is like I'm not renewing that license. So like the thing that I'm building is what I'm going to use. And all of these complicated ones like Maya, Cinema 4D, they all have these exe installers pretty much. Pretty much all of these are very annoyingly complicated. And some of them have this, which is the exe that you get from the vendor as an installer, has an MSI inside of it, or it has 2 MSIs, or sometimes another exe inside of it, and it's a freaking Rubik's Cube. And for me to get this to work was really hard, because you essentially, like if you're thinking of a Mac, we got a DMG and we got a package, and we just kind of like run installer, right? sbin installer, and it's just going to install. But this is actually calling itself the installer that you get from the vendor. So like I have to put on the machine, on the endpoint, I have to get the installer there, run it, and delete that installer because I don't care about it, right? It's just like a temporary thing. So I coined these installer types, and I built it into Cimi package, a logic that if the build info is empty, because usually you have a path there, even if you just have, if it's top level, you just do 1/. So if it's completely empty, that means it's an installer type, which means take this payload into the cache, because Cimian's going to have its own cache, just like Monkey. When it's on the cache, you're just going to run the installer that I give it in the post install script to install this thing. So for example, I don't know, Creative Cloud, right? So they have a setup exe that calls the MSIs that are in there, that calls another bunch of things. But all you really need to do is you need to put everything that you get downloaded from Adobe and run this setup exe. So I just run it as a post-install script inside the package. So what that gives us is a way to package, like it's one little package, one little .new package that I can push. I can import it into my repo. I put it, there's no flags or anything. I literally just put the package, and then manage software update will install it just like a normal package. And the key, the kind of like the hack was having this empty, because then I tell my own tools that this thing's kind of special. And these payloads are like 12 gigs each, like they're large. Oh, and then, oh, actually, I'm going to talk about this. So we're using Choco, like managed software update, the managed software update that I built for Cimian. I'm calling Choco because it's what I've been using for a new package. But then Choco has its own cache. So what ends up happening, I'm downloading to Cimian's cache, and then Choco is wanting to copy it to its own cache to run it from there. And then it has all sorts of logic about how to deal with its own cache. Sometimes if there's too much in the cache, it wouldn't install. It was having problems with pre-install scripts, and it also, if you've installed a package before, Choco doesn't want to reinstall a pre-install script. So I was just running into a lot of things, and I was like, well, maybe I should go back to MSI, try to be MSI. I ran into that a bit because what I wanted to do was the sanity that is on the Mac, where we just, technically behind the scenes, when you're double clicking a package, you're just running installer, the package, target. So I ended up creating a binary to do this on Windows. It works. It's programmatically, it's like Unix based, which is like a unitasker. You do this one thing and you're going to do it well. And you're going to run and install these packages. So it can do MSIs. It can install a new package, and also it can install Intune Win. Cimi package can create Intune Win. So if anybody's on Intune, you can actually use Cimi package by itself. You don't have to use Cimian. If you just want to package something, you can use it, and you get an MSI that is usable. The MSI installs with the built-in MSI exec from the system. That works usually because it has the way Windows installer thinks about things is very different. It has like all these logics about different stages depending on, it's a whole mess. Anyway, so that's an option for anybody. So at this point, I have this working. So kind of the pipeline of like building packages, importing, and installing. And we're getting to May at this point. But I have a lot of new computers coming. I have 2 labs and like I think it was 40 Surface laptops. And I don't have, and I'm trying to think, okay, how am I going to bootstrap these things? Because now we don't have it. Like that software, it was imaging. It was like an old image. They used to make a duplicate of the very old legacy imaging from the Mac. So on the Mac we use install applications, and then on Windows you have the out-of-box experience. Oops. You have the out-of-box experience, and then you have this page called ESP, which is enrollment status page. And so I'm thinking how I'm going to do this, because really what I want to get to on both systems, like we have this beautiful thing on the Mac with the ADE, and we bootstrap Monkey with install applications today, and then like that's my goal. Like the MDM is there, like we have one MDM for the same thing, and it does what it does, which is really just bootstrapping our tools. And at this point I get to naming again, because I'm trying to figure out the naming. And now we have Cimian. That is a Cimian is a nod to a primate. So these become new tools that I called BootstrapMate and ReportMate. Later we'll get to the reporting side, but this is the kind of the ecosystem that I have now for both. So we're managing Macs and Windows exactly the same way. We bootstrap the same tool the same way, and Monkey and Cimian are pretty much the same. So for BootstrapMate, I copied install applications from MacAdmin. So like if you go MacAdmin install applications, it's a C# binary. So what I can do is exactly the same. If you think of how the Mac setup assistant, the remote management screen will bootstrap your tools, and a lot of admins will bootstrap Monkey with it. So I got the same experience here. Unfortunately on Windows I can't do the login window. Like you can't put a window on top of the login window. So it just kind of runs silently, but it runs, it works. And also I have a setup step and a user land step. And I made an app too, so there's an app. If sometimes the admin wants to just kind of run it on the GUI, you can do that, but it's a command line tool as well. And then I did it for the Windows, and I was like, well, I'm going to do it for the Macs, because install applications is still Python. And I know I think a few people have done a Swift version, but I ended up just making it as well. So and we're using it. We've been bootstrapping our Macs now for many months with BootstrapMate. And I also made an app, and it's kind of cool. uh, and you can just run it in. Oh, that's the wrong screenshot. That's a report mate, but you can run it from the app basically. It's up on GitHub, so github.com bootstrapmate. You can take a look. I would like to uh, offer it to the MacAdmins if they're interested. You know, like I can migrate the repo eventually. It's like doesn't have to be here if it's of interest. I Xeroxed install applications. It's like very similar. The keys, the JSON, like everything. All right, so we get this. So the question was like, did we make it? Did was I able to do all this? And yeah, we did it. So like, I have there's a Windows admin that was really good at like troubleshooting and QA and everything, and we had Cimian in production now since September. Lots of like tweaks along the way since and improvements and stuff, but like the core, like I was able to burn the ships, and we did not renew the license, and it's what we've been using. So like this, oops. Yeah, let's celebrate again because it was a big deal. We classes ran, and nobody noticed, which is it's kind of what we want. It's like invisible, right? All right, so we got that. I was able to get all the binaries to be the same. So like in September, when I put Cimian in production, we have a MacAdmin that in his title was actually Mac and PC. So I was like, hey Brian, you're gonna do more PC now because we need the help. So I literally set him up with the repo and didn't tell him anything. Like we didn't like do training or anything. I was just like, hey, start doing some Chrome updates, start packaging some stuff, because he does all of that on the Mac, and he just picked it up, and it was like not a lot of questions. Like he already knew how to do it, everything, because he's been using it forever. So like when there's an issue with the manifest, or like, oh, this conditional or package info, etc. So it's been awesome, like in that sense, because now like there's this one admin that talks to both. I'm like doing the kind of devices for both on the back end. So and just like I carried all the keys, so they all are the same from Monkey. So requires, update for, all the pre-install scripts, uninstall scripts, the checks, version, catalog, everything's the same. It's the same keys. Blocking applications, you can also do that. You can set an array of blocking applications, things like that. By the way, I talked to Greg Nigo, and he's fine with this. So I got the approval from him. So all right. So now we got the core engine, but we have all these friends, right? So like, what do we do if we don't have these friends? So I started creating, as we went along, I started creating a bunch of like Windows versions of all of the main tools that we did. So Swift dialog, I got a C# dialog, outset, because we use outset, there's start set. I mentioned installer, suspicious package. I have an app called Package Inspector. Crypt, there's also, just if anybody uses Crypt, there's a C# version. I know there was already one for Windows, but it was kind of old, so this one has there's a bunch of like little modern things I put in there. So the main repo is Windows admins. I named it this because it's not my thing. I wanted it to be for other people, right? Like it's something that could be for the core. If you're a Mac admin and you have this 20% fleet Windows or what have you, and it's a nightmare, and you're just like, and you happen to use Monkey, because now there's a lot of MDMs that are doing a lot of software things, so people are maybe not using Monkey as much. But if you love Monkey and you want to keep using it, and you happen to have Windows computers, and you're just like, I just want to have it all the same, this is an option. And yeah, if you want to contribute, if anybody wants to contribute, look at the code, star, and what have you, and then maybe eventually more people can be part of it. So just a few samples now. This is like a fire round. I haven't been keeping up with my time. How much time do I have? Auto package. There's an importer, so I haven't put the PR on the official repo because, well, I kind of want to have Cimian kind of be a thing first. But I do have it working with auto package. I have recipes, so in that Windows admins, there's a repo that is full of recipes, which we are using right now. So like, this is my team's notifications when they come in. So it's working. Like we got updates every day. And C# dialog, it's not as pretty, but it works. So like you can do check the progress. The keys are pretty much all the same. All the flags look the same. You can do just an alert. You can do all the like onboarding. We're doing our onboarding with that. So like when people first log in, they got the kind of very similar to the Windows the Mac experience. Outset for Windows, same thing. Login once, login every, login privilege, all of it. Again, not going to talk too much about it. Crypt escrow, same flag, same keys, everything's the same. So same types of configs. So if you use it on the Mac, you can just use it on Windows. It's the same. Suspicious package that I mentioned, so package inspector, it can look at new package, MSIs. There's no good MSI GUI anywhere. Like there's like a 15-year-old that sucks. I don't even remember the name. But anyway, this works. You can open an MSI and you can just look at it. It's like, what is this thing doing for? It's a basic thing. It's not doing all the MSI things because there's so many things, but it's basically like, what are the files that are on this thing and what are the scripts, and you can export, just a basic little kind of nice, shows you the signing, signature, the metadata. So there's that. Cimian Studio. Okay, so MonkeyAdmin, I was like, okay, I need a MonkeyAdmin because, a lot of people use the GUI. We've been using, the fact that it's YAML, we actually, this entire time, we didn't use a GUI. We're just using the repo with manifest and package info in like just plain text in like VS Code or what have you. But, I wanted a GUI. So this is like a GUI option and, packages, manifests, catalogs. Build, you can actually build a package in there. So you can just run Cimi package in the GUI app, and you can point it to a profile folder, and it will show you all your projects. You can also import. So when you finish the build, it will offer you to import, and then there's a Git as well. So it looks like this.
Thank you.
All right.